this example here and how we're going to draw this and dimension it. Okay, I think the way I'm going to do this, and there are multiple ways to do this, I think the easiest thing would be to break it up into three parts and draw this part, that part connected to it, and then this final part right here. So something like this. I'll draw this first, I'll then put this attached to it, and then this attached to that. Okay, so I think that's the way that I will do that. So let's go into Inventor. We're going to open up a new part that is a metric part. So I'm going to pick millimeters. Okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to pick the top view. Okay, and I'm going to draw that first piece and I'm going to put it right here at the origin. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go straight up and look at that dimension, and that is 70. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go over here and that is going to be, according to the drawing, that is 30. Okay, then come straight down here, that is 40. I'm going to go over here and let's see, that is 30 minus 20. Could probably have done that in my head. And then come down, finish it up here and here, and pick OK, and I'll pick Finish Sketch. Okay, now I have that first piece. I'm going to extrude that, and that distance is going to be 75. And I'm going to pick OK. Now I want the second part, but I want it to be attached to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Origin. I'm going to look at the planes. Here is my YZ plane. Here is my XZ plane. And here is my YZ plane. So if I make a new sketch on the XZ plane right here, I can then extrude that up. So I can right click here, pick New Sketch. Okay, again it goes into the flat view, and I'm going to start a line, and I'm going to go from this endpoint here straight across, and let's see, that is going to be 100 minus 30. From there to there, going to come straight down. That looks like that is 50. I'm going to go over this way. Now that's to where that little part there is. So that is 100 minus 82, which is there. I'm going to come back this way, which is 50 minus 35. Give me that dimension there. I'm going to go this way, which is 82 minus 55. Then this is going to come and line up with this one right there. Attach that one there. Attach that final line there. Then I'll finish my sketch. Now I have that second part. I'm going to extrude that up, and that is going to go up 50 and pick OK. Okay, I'm going to pick the same part again. I'm going to pick, right click on the new sketch. I'm going to create a line from here over to here, and that is going to be 25. This is going to line up to here. Here and back. We'll finish the sketch. I'll extrude this one up, and that is going to go up 75. I'll pick OK. Notice when I extruded those, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go to extrude again. Notice here I can have join, cut, intersect. By default it's going to be on join, which means when I do this it will join it to anything that it's touching. So again I'm going to go up 75 and I'll pick OK. Alright, so here is my part. Now I'm going to put this on the paper, and if I look at my views, I probably want to put that as the front view. I'm going to put that as the top view, and this is the right side view. But notice up in this cube up here it says right, which means that is the right view. Well, I can reset that any way I want. So I'm going to make this so it is the front view. So over here in this cube, you'll see a little down arrow right here. And I click on that, and it says set current view as, and I want this to be the front. Okay, now you notice that our cube says front. Here is our top, and here is our right side view. Okay, I'm going to pick home for a little isometric, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to pick file, save as, and I'll call this CH chapter 4 example 1, and I'm going to save it. Okay, now I'm going to put it on a piece of paper. So I'm going to open up my metric title block. I would think that an A size would be okay for this. Okay, I'm going to pick the base. Now it's going to automatically go to the front view. And I'm going to put the front view there, maybe the right view there, top view there, and I'll put a little isometric here and pick OK. Again, if I double click on the isometric view and I want to make this shaded, I'll pick the shaded box right here, pick OK, and now it is shaded. Okay, I want to go in and I want to make sure that my title block is filled in correctly. So I'm going to go back to the part, and I'm going to go right click up here and go to eye properties, and under summary this is called example 1. The author is me. It is Camden County College, but I don't need to put that there. Project. I can leave all this alone in physical, and let's make this aluminum because it looks like it would be a piece of aluminum to me. Okay, and I can just pick generic aluminum right there and pick OK. Alright, back on my drawing. Okay, I need to fix my name here. So I'll take here, right click, go to eye properties, summary, I'll change that. And again, this was the way I set it up when I installed this, unfortunately. And I pick OK. Now I have my name. Okay, now we're going to look at how we're going to dimension this. Okay, we want to dimension the shape right here. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of the edges that I'm going to use as a datum. Okay, so for these dimensions here, I need from this surface to here, from this surface to here, and from this surface to here. And I'm going to have that datum be here. Okay, on this view I'm going to pick from this surface to here, and from this surface here, so this bottom line is going to be our datum. Okay, now since my datum is this edge here, I want to use this edge here for the top view, which will be the same thing, and I'm going to dimension from here to here, here to here, okay, and here to here, which I didn't point to, and then I'm going to use this part right here as the datum for here, here, and here. Okay, in order to dimension, what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to pick annotate, and here are our dimensions right here. We have dimension, we have baseline, ordinate chain. We'll look at some of those later. We're going to look at whole on the next example. Okay, and I'm just going to pick dimension. Now all we need to do is we can pick a line, or we can pick points. Okay, if we have a circle, we can pick the center. So I'm just going to pick this line right here, and if I drag it, you'll see that it'll give me a dimension. Okay, when it shows dotted like that, that means that it's at a a standard distance away. Okay, so I'm going to click right there, which is a 75. The next dimension, I'm going to go from this line. Now again, I can just pick the line. Okay, now it's kind of tough, so I can pick that line, and I don't want that center point, but I want that line. Okay, and this one is 50. I can pick from this line to this line, or I can pick right here to the end point, and that's 30. Again, this is my datum, so I'm going to go from here to here, and then I'm going to go from here to this line here, which is the whole distance. Okay, now I didn't go to this point and this point because that's easier to see what it is in this top view. Okay, so I'm going to pick from this line to that line, which is 20. I may have to move some of these. I'm going to pick from that same datum to this endpoint here, and that's 55. Now again, I'm going to have to move these dimensions down a little bit, or what I can do is I'm going to hit escape, and I'm just going to drag this bottom view down a little bit, or this front view down a little bit. Now I have some more room, and I'll go back to dimension, and I'll pick from this edge to that edge, and that is 82. Okay, so that should take care of this particular feature set right here. I'm going to make a dimension for this line here. Now again, from that back datum, I have from here to this line, which is 35. From this line to here, which is 40. And then I have the complete dimension, which is 70. Okay, so if you look at that, okay, look around, I think that is all the dimensions that we need. This view, since there is no dimensions, you don't really need it, but it might be a nice thing to show for the dotted lines here. Okay, next we'll take a look at example 2. If we take a look at how we're going to draw this, it is probably a good idea that I'll start with the top view. Now, back here in Inventor, excuse me, you'll notice that this drawing is called Title Block A. I don't want to save it as that. Okay, it'll overwrite my template. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I probably should have done this first. And I'm going to call this Chapter 4, Example 1, and then pick Save. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new part. That one also is metric, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to pick metric, and of course I'm going to pick create. Okay, I'm going to start my sketch, and again it said I wanted to start with the top view. Okay, I'll draw that circle here first, from here to here, and that circle is a radius of 18, so I'll do 18 times 2. Okay, from there to there, I'll take and I'll draw a line from this point here. Okay, again, you'll see that I have little tangency symbol there, which is good. I'll go this way 45. Whoops, that is zoomed up. Sometimes my mouse just has a mind of its own. And I will go here until I'm 90 degrees and it lines up with the bottom one. And then here again, I'll click on that. Now, I didn't get the tangent symbol, so I'm going to go up here to my constraints, and I'm going to make sure that this line is tangent with that circle. Okay, if I want to check, make sure this line is tangent with there, and it should give me the that it already exists, so I'm good there. Okay, now I could put this hole in here right now as well, but I'm going to wait and use the hole command to show you how that works. Alright, so I can just trim this guy up right there. I'll finish the sketch. I'll extrude that, and that is going to be extruded 10 millimeters. I'm going to pick OK. Now I need this piece coming up the top, so I'm going to start a new sketch from this surface right here. Okay, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, now you'll notice when those lines get yellow, that is projecting the geometry that already exists to the plane that I'm drawing in. Okay, so I can use those lines over again. So I'm going to click here at this endpoint. I'm going to go this way, and that is also 10. I'm going to come all the way down till I'm perpendicular to this one. Then I'm going to go from that endpoint to here, and then from that endpoint to here, pick OK, and I'm going to finish that sketch. Okay, I'm going to extrude that, and that is going to go up according to the drawing. I have 40 minus 10. Could have probably figured out that was 30 by myself, but I'm just going to pick OK. Alright, now I have that little cutout here, so I'll start a new sketch right here. Okay, again, you'll see the yellow lines where it's projected. If I need something projected, like say I wanted to use that line there, I would go up here to project geometry, and then that would project that to that particular plane. I don't need that, so I'm not going to. So I'm going to draw a line. Okay, from this top end point, I'm going to go this direction. Doesn't matter how I draw as long as it's nice and straight. And I'm going to go 18. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to draw one more line from here. I'm going to go straight up, and that is 23. And then I'll just connect those two together and then pick OK. Alright, that should take care of this sketch. We're going to take this little triangle right here and we're going to cut that away. Now it should be able to recognize this area from here, here, and here. If not, I could draw those lines, or I could draw those lines if I wanted to, and I'd go from here to here, from here to there, and it won't hurt anything because it will extrude them and then take them away. So I'm going to pick Finish Sketch. Okay, you'll see my triangle here. I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to pick here. Now I don't want to join these. What I want to do is I want to cut it. Now again, it's smart enough to know if it's going to cut, it's going to go into the material, and I just want to make sure I go completely through the whole thing. And I'm going to pick OK. Alright, now I need that hole in there. Again, I can just go to a new sketch if I wanted to, and I could put a circle there, but I want to use the hole feature to show you how that works. So I'm going to pick hole. Okay, now I'm going to pick a spot anywhere. Now it needs to know where I want to put it. Okay, that is concentric. Okay, if you look at the drawing with this radius right here. So I'm just going to click on it and don't hit enter. Okay, that is a standard hole. Okay, there's no counterbore or spot face or countersink or anything. Okay, it's just a straight through hole. Okay, I want to go through everything, and I want that diameter to be 10, and I pick OK. Alright, now my sketch is complete. I can go in here now, right click, go down to Properties, iProperties, Summary. This is example 2. Example 2. Okay, I can put my name here if I'd like. Okay, again, I will put stock numbers in the description, and we'll go into that when we do assembly. So I'm just going to go to Physical. Okay, and let's just make this something different. Okay, so we'll make this, maybe we'll make it just stainless steel. Why not? Okay, there you notice that the color has changed. I'm going to File, Save As. Okay, and this is example 2. So I'm going to pick example 1 and then change the 1 to the 2 because I'm incredibly lazy. Example 2, whatever I call it. Okay, now I'm going to put it on the piece of paper. So I'm going to open up my template again, my millimeter template. I'm going to remember this time to rename it so I don't forget. Save as. Okay, if you do sometime forget and overwrite this as title block, just call it up again, delete all the stuff, and save it as title block again. So I'm going to call this example 2, or chapter 4, example 2. That's what I used last time. Okay, and I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to go to base here so I can put my drawing in there. Okay, what I didn't do is I didn't change my this view to the correct view. Okay, doesn't really matter, so I can say, okay, I'm going to make that the front view, the right side view, and the top view, and then throw my symmetric up here and pick OK. Okay, so I have something like that. Now, when I have circles in here, okay, holes, radiuses, whatever, I need to put center lines. Now, Inventor has an automatic center line putter. Okay, and I'm going to go up to annotate. You will see up here, here are my center line putters. Here is just create a center line wherever I want. This puts it between two lines. This one will put it at the center of a circle or a radius. This one here will put it on a pattern. Okay, so we're going to pick the center mark for a radius or circle. I'm going to pick the biggest one. Now you'll see that it only put it on these sides because it ends here. So I'm also going to pick this sole here to put a little piece right there. Okay, now I'm going to pick the one that's going to have the bisector in it. I'm going to pick that one, and that's going to put it between that hole or that line and that line and that line. Now notice that it looks like a solid line there. It does not look like a center line. So I'm going to hit escape, and what I'm going to do is change my line scale. I'm going to go up to manage, my style editor. Okay, going to make sure I'm on the default standard, and here's my global line scale, and let's cut that in half. So I'll put 0.5. I can put anything I want there. I'll pick save and close. Now they look like nice center lines. Okay, I'm also going to go to this one. I'm going to click on it. When I get those dots, I'll get a grip here, and I'm just going to stretch this one out so it looks a little better, and hit escape. Okay, so it looks like now that I'm ready to do my dimensioning, so I'll go ahead and annotate, dimension. Okay, and I need a dimension from here to here, right there. I could use a dimension for thickness here. Okay, now when I'm dimensioning something like this, I'm going to call out the radius, and then I'm going to put a dimension from the center of that radius over to here. So I'm going to click the center point, and then this end point, and there I have a dimension of 45. Okay, if I still in dimension and I click here, okay, that will call up the radius right there. Okay, that is enough to specify what this is going to be. I don't need to put the distance from here to here because I know it's twice the radius. Okay, all right, I need the dimension of these cutouts. So back to dimension from this end point to here. Okay, and that's 23. And I'll put an overall here to here. Again, I could put that overall over here, but it's probably better to put it between the views. Now I have a dimension from here to here, and that is 18. Okay, now the last one to look at is this hole right here. If we would just made a circle, we could pick this and it would automatically pick it. But I'm going to go up here now where it says hole and thread. Since we used a hole, we can just click on it. It will automatically go to the diameter and the word through. Okay, if we had used just a circle to do that, we would have to put that text in there, which we'll do a little bit later. Okay, we need two make a couple changes to this one. Oops, I got to get out of that command, hide escape. Right click, go down to properties. We're going to go to summary. I'll change this to my last name. I'm really getting tired of doing that. Okay, and I'll pick OK, and I will save it. And that is our second example. Now we'll take a look at the third example. Here is our third example. Okay, this looks kind of straightforward. We'll do a top view. Okay, anything different that we need to look at. Okay, here we have, this is a counter the diameter of the big circle is 8.25. I think that should just be 8, and it is 5 millimeters deep. Okay, and this is an M4, the metric 4 millimeters times 0.7 to tapped hole through. Okay, so that looks pretty straightforward. So we'll go back into Inventor. We will make a new part. Okay, we're kind of stuck with metric on this particular exercise, so I'm going to go back to metric. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go to the top view right there. Okay, I'm going to start off with a rectangle. I can start off with any one I want, so I'll just make a rectangle right there. Okay, then I'm going to dimension, and I'll pick this dimension here, which is 75. Okay, zoom out, I'll do this dimension here, which is 30. We'll do that there, and we'll finish that sketch. Whoops. Okay, probably before I want to do that, I'll put in that fillet. So if I finish the sketch and I want to change it again, I'll go right here to the sketch, right click on it and pick Edit Sketch. I'll go up to fillet. That fillet is 10. Okay, I'll pick this line and that line. Now my fillet's there. And now I'll finish the sketch and I'll extrude that one up. And that one is 15, so I'll type in 15 and I'll pick OK. Alright, now I need that boss sticking up there, so I'll go here to this view. Okay, I'll go to circle. Now I'm going to go and just hover here. Okay, so I have the green dot, and that'll put it directly in the center. And I'm just going to put it here, and I'm going to put it there. Now, I'm going to dimension from here to the center point. Okay, and that is 12. Now, intentionally, I am not going to put I'm going to forget to put the diameter of this circle. Okay, that's probably realistic for me. I do it all the time. And then I'm going to finish the sketch. So I'm going to show you how we can fix that at a later date and how it will update itself. I'm going to pick extrude. Okay, I want to make sure I pick the circle. Okay, and that is 30 minus 15, so that's about 15 again. Put 15. Pick OK. Alright, now I need that tapped counter bore. So the easiest way to do it, I'm going to go to hole. Okay, and I'll pick a spot. Now I'm going to say, okay, from this point from here to here is 65 minus 75, or 75 minus 65, so that's about 10. Okay, and then from here to here is halfway, and that is exactly 15. Okay, I want this to be a tapped hole, and I want it to be a counter bore. Okay, the hole is an isometric. Okay, the tap is a M4, so I'm going to go here to 4. Okay, it's an M4 by 0.7. The class is 6H, that is right. Okay, I want this to be 8. I want the depth here to be 5, and that is on that note there. Okay, so I want to make sure that this here is through everything, so I'll just make that 15. Okay, or I could just put through and it should work okay, and pick OK. Now if I zoom around, and at the same time press on the mouse button, I can swing this around, and I'm going to zoom here, and you'll see that it shows this as a tapped hole. Okay, it's actually just a picture of a tapped hole, which is good enough for what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. Okay, I'm going to pick the right view that I want this time for the front, and I'm going to make this the front. And I save current view as the front. That's good. I'm going to right click here, go to Eye Properties. Under Summary, this is example 3. Example, I can't spell example. Example 3. Okay, it's me. Again, I don't need to put any of this. Okay, for the part, this is an expensive one. We're going to make it out of gold. Why not? So there it is, gold. Now go to my view. I'll do File, Save As, and this is example 3. Save that. Okay, I'll open up our template file. Okay, I'm going to remember to save as, and this is chapter 4, example 3. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go to base. It's going to pick that view that I made there. I need a front view, a right side, a top, and we'll stick a nice little isometric there. Okay, again I need to put my center lines. So I'm going to go to Annotate, and I'm going to pick center of this one. And here I'm not going to do this radius, even though it's kind of large, but I really don't need to specify the center of that. Okay, now I also need to put a center line between these two lines, between these lines, and that line. So I'm going to go up here to this one, the bisector, and I'll pick from here to here. Okay, now this one I'm going to pick from here to here, and then also pick from here. Make sure I pick the right one, the inside, so that completes it. And here I'll pick from here to here, and I can also pick from here to here to finish that one. Okay, so again you will notice that my scale is off a little bit here. I'll go to Manage, Style Editor. Okay, and I'll change that to maybe 0.5. Okay, one thing I haven't told you is you'll see the scale. When we insert that, it will allow us to pick the scale. Okay, we'll pick a scale. So when I go into here, here is the scale. They give us common scales: a quarter, a half, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3, 4, 5, 10. We can type in anything we want there. Okay, if we want some weird scale, which we usually don't, we could put that in there. Let's make this one shaded because I like to do that because it looks pretty. Now it will be pretty and gold. Okay, so now I'm ready to start dimensioning. Okay, now I want to dimension from a datum. Okay, and since this is a flat side, I'm going to make this the datum from here, and I'm going to pick to the center of this circle and the center of this circle and an overall. Then I'm going to use this line again, since it's a straight line, which make it easier to measure, and I'll make a datum from here to the center and here. And this one I'll make the bottom line the datum. And I'm going to start dimensioning. I'm going to start at the top view because I know where most of those dimensions are going to be. And I'm going to go to dimension. I'm going to go from this datum line, or this line here, to this hole here. I'm going to go from the same line to the center of this one. And I'm going to give it an overall from here to here. It's about there. Okay. I'm going to use the hole and thread point to this one, and it automatically, which is really nice, puts our M4 by 0.76H, 15 thousandths deep, or excuse me, 15 millimeters deep. Okay, and a counter bore of 8 millimeters, that is 5 deep. Okay, I'm going to go to dimension. I'm going to pick this center point here for that raise. Now I don't want to put this as a diameter, okay, because remember our rules, we have to dimension this in the rectangular view. Okay, so I'm going to put a dimension from here to there. That's 14. Now I'm going to put a dimension from here to the top, which is 30. Then a dimension from here to here, which is 15. Now, I just noticed that this dimension is incorrect. It's 14, it should be 15. So I'm going to go back into my part and I'll look at where I created that. Let's see, that was extrusion 2 maybe, and it looks it's right. And I'm going to right click and edit the sketch. Okay, and I notice I forgot to put a diameter there. So if I go here and put dimension, pick the diameter, okay, instead of 13.973, which rounded itself off to 14, I'm going to make that 15. Pick OK, finish the sketch. Okay, now I don't even have to save that, and you'll notice that it changed the number and it changed the part. You could see the part actually grow as we did it. Okay, I would want to go here and save it, but I want to show you that you don't have to. Okay, let's see, do we need anything else? I think that's the only dimensions that we want, except right here. Okay, right there that says 15. I want that to have the diameter symbol. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape, make sure I'm not in any command. I'm going to double click on that. Okay, and I get this layout here. Okay, those brackets here show it's going to use whatever the system says it is. Now I want the diameter symbol in the front, so I'm going to arrow over, okay, or click over here until I'm in the front. I want to be in the front. And here is our diameter symbol. You'll see that we have things like tapers and square and center line, okay, and all that stuff, and counterbore if we ever need plus or minus, if we ever need to change those. We want to put the diameter symbol and put it right there. Okay, I can also change my tolerances, and when we do tolerancing we'll look at that. Okay, we'll pick OK. Okay, and now I'm going to hit escape, get out of that. There is that. I go back in here, right click, go down to the properties, summary. The only thing I really need to change here again is my name. Okay, and I want everything to be in capitals. I don't know what I did to get rid of that, but I did so. Okay, then I would save it. Alright, that is our examples. Okay, now you can do some of your own. That'll be your assignment.